This story is about magical creatures that live alongside humans, but only a few special kids can see them. These creatures are known as IFs, which stands for imaginary friends. I think you'll really enjoy this fantastic tale. At the start, we meet a family living in New York. In this family, there's a girl named Bee who loves her mom and dad a lot. They were all very happy together. But suddenly B's mom passed away from cancer, leaving Bee heartbroken. It took Bee a long time to realize that her mom was gone. Now, she lives with her dad in a different city, but her dad also has a heart condition that requires surgery in a New York hospital. So, Bee moves in with her grandmother, where she spent her early years with her parents. At 12 years old, Bee is quite smart. She visits her dad in the hospital, where he acts playful and tries to reassure her that he's okay. Bee understands that he puts on this act just for her sake. He tells her he's going to have a small operation and will be fine afterward. Hearing this makes Bee happy, and they enjoy some time together. Later, when Bee returns home, her grandmother greets her warmly. However, Bee feels a bit sad seeing her old house again because it reminds her of her mom when she looks at the photos. To distract herself, she watches TV. That night, she hears a noise coming from another room. Curious, she goes to investigate and finds her dad's old camera in a cupboard, but the battery is dead. Bee decides to go to the store to buy a charger. When she comes back with the charger, Bee notices a strange creature sneaking into her building. Curious, she decides to chase after it, but the creature seems scared of her and runs away, heading to the top floor. When Bee finally catches up, a man's voice tells her to leave. Bee doesn't want to go, though. Suddenly, an old woman appears and scolds Bee, insisting she return to her room. So, Bee heads back to her room. The next day, she visits the hospital to see her dad and meets a boy named Benjamin. He has a broken leg and arm and is staying in the hospital. As she's leaving, Benjamin spots Bee and starts chatting with her. He explains how he got hurt, and Bee feels sorry for him since he looks bored. After a little while, she says goodbye to Benjamin and goes to her dad's room, bringing him some flowers before heading home. That night, while reviewing the camera footage, Bee hears a strange noise. She steps outside and hears two people arguing as they walk by. One of them is the same creature she saw the night before. Intrigued, Bee follows them and watches a man sneak into a house to meet another creature that looks like a giant teddy bear. She's shocked by what she sees. Just as the man notices Bee, she tries to escape, but the first creature blocks her path. This frightens Bee so much that she faints. When Bee finally woke up, she found herself on the top floor of her building. As she got up, she noticed various items scattered around. Suddenly, that large creature named Blue entered the room. He attempted to speak to her, but she was frightened. However, after a little while, Bee realized that these creatures meant no harm and were actually friendly. Then, the creature that had scared her before, named Blossom, appeared. She explained to Bee that they were all called IFs. At that moment, a man named Cal stepped out from a nearby room. He told Bee that she had seen him before, but she couldn't remember him at all. Because of this, Cal decided not to share any more information and went back to his room. Blue and Blossom then explained to Bee that they were imaginary friends of humans, but as people grew up, they often forgot about them. Blue shared that his friend was named Jeremy, but Jeremy had forgotten him. Bee asked Blue if that was why he went to Jeremy's house, and Blue replied that they were actually trying to find new babies for placement. Blossom told Bee that we've started a matchmaking agency to connect new babies with retired IFs. While listening to Blossom, Bee asked if there were others like her. Blossom replied that there are many more like us. Blue explained to Bee that when kids grow up and don't need them anymore, they stop visiting us, but we can still see them. Blue started to cry because Jeremy had also stopped visiting him. Just then, Cal showed up and scolded Bee, telling her to go home. Blue defended Bee, saying she was still a child, so Cal shouldn't be harsh with her. Bee, feeling upset, insisted that she wasn't a child and walked away. The next day, she went to visit her dad in the hospital and was surprised to find Blue there, hiding because he had followed her. When she asked what he was doing, Blue said he was just taking a walk. Bee pointed out that no one else could see you, so people might think I was crazy. To solve this, she brought Blue to Cal's room and asked why she could see IFs. but Cal didn't want to say anything. Then Blue explained that she was one of the chosen ones. This made Bee curious, and she asked how she could help them. Cal told her that she couldn't help them right now, but Bee insisted there had to be a way. Blossom mentioned that all the kids had grown up and forgotten us, which is why they needed new children. Bee thought that if she helped reunite them with the kids, everything would be okay. Then she found a book called Memory Lane, which had information about all the retired ifs. She started to look through it, but Cal took it away, not wanting Bee to get involved. Bee insists that she wants to meet all the ifs, but Cal says no. Bee then tells Cal that he needs help and she can provide it. Blue and Blossom also request for her. Eventually, Cal agrees, which makes everyone excited. He takes Bee to an amusement park where they find a swing. There's a hidden gate that leads down some stairs to where the Memory Lawn retirement community used to be. Cal feels nervous about going inside, but Bee is eager to explore, so he decides to go in with her. Inside, they find many retired ifs who are spending their time there. Cal asks one of the ifs about Lewis, who is the leader of the community. They make their way to Lewis, who greets Bee warmly. Cal tells Lewis that Bee wants to help all the retired ifs. Cal also says to Bee that Lewis can tell her everything she needs to know. Lewis shares with Bee that Cal used to be a joker, whose job was to make people laugh, but he doesn't do that anymore. Lewis also explains that this is a world of imagination, so you can change things however you like. Inspired, Bee starts having fun with Cal using her imagination. After their fun, she decides to interview everyone with Cal. Later, she goes home to grab her drawing book and heads to the hospital. She tells her dad she has important work to do, so she won't be there long. As she's leaving, she spots Benjamin looking really bored. This gives her an idea, and she asks him if he has an imaginary friend. When he says no, she offers to be his imaginary friend, and Benjamin is thrilled because he really wants a friend. So, Bee brings Cal to the retirement home, and they start interviewing of all the ifs. After their chats, Bee and Cal take the ifs to the hospital, where Bee introduces each if to Benjamin. Unfortunately, Benjamin can't see any of the ifs, which makes Bee feel really sad. The issue is that new kids can't see the ifs either. As Bee leaves the retirement home, she spots Lewis and goes over to him to share her disappointment about what didn't happen. Lewis suggests that maybe not all of the ifs need new kids because they are created from the imaginations of their own children. That's why other kids can't see them. He also mentions that every child needs an imaginary friend, but they've forgotten about them and need a little reminder to see their friends again. After hearing this, Bee feels hopeful and heads home. There her grandmother shares that she used to be a great dancer when she was young, but stopped as she got older. Her grandmother shows Bee an old photo of herself dancing, and suddenly, Bee notices Blossom in the picture. She realizes that her grandmother was friends with Blossom, but has forgotten her. Bee rushes to Cal's room to ask Blossom about it. Blossom confirms that she was indeed her grandmother's friend, but now her grandmother can't see her anymore. Bee takes Blossom to her room and plays an old song on the gramophone, hoping to jog her grandmother's memory of dancing. She hides while her grandmother comes to turn off the music, but instead, the song brings back memories of her childhood. As she remembers those joyful days, she starts dancing. While reminiscing, she suddenly remembers her friend Blossom, who she had forgotten about. Now, Blossom begins to shine and dances just like her. Grandmother also now can see Blossom again. The next day, Bee and Cal take Blue to see Jeremy. Jeremy has changed a lot and is now at an office for interviews. Bee and Cal arrive, and Bee starts eating a cream roll in front of Jeremy to jog his memory of his childhood. This brings back memories of Jeremy, and he also starts to see Blue. Blue is thrilled to find his old friend and gives Bee a big hug. After that, Bee and Cal head back to the retirement home, where everyone applauds them, making them very happy. Later, they go home, and Grandmother nervously tells Bee that something went wrong with her dad's operation, so they need to rush to the hospital. Bee feels scared and runs to Cal's room, where he comforts her. Bee confesses to Cal that she doesn't want to say goodbye to her dad like her mom. Cal suggests that instead of saying goodbye, she should tell her dad the story she wrote. Feeling better, Bee hugs Cal and starts to cry. Then, she goes to the hospital and finds out her dad is still unconscious. All her friends are there too. She enters her dad's room and tells him that her story is finished and she wants to share it. Bee begins her story with a girl who has a deep love for her dad. This girl works really hard to grow up, and even though she does, she knows she can never let her dad go away from her. When she expresses this, tears start to fall. Surprisingly, then her dad wakes up. He tells her that he can't leave her. Her dad feels overjoyed because he has been saved and can now be with his daughter. Bee rushes out to tell everyone that her dad is awake and doing well. However, she notices that all her imaginary friends have disappeared from the hospital. The next day, she steps outside her room with a gift for her friend Cal, but the lady who owns the house approaches her and asks what she's doing there. Bee explains that she's there to see her friend Cal, but the lady tells her that no one has lived here for many years. She opens the door to show Bee that the room is empty. Bee feels sad and shocked, but there's nothing she can do, so she heads home. A few days later, Bee's dad comes back from the hospital, and he takes her to another house. While packing her things in the car, a box of childhood memories falls out. Inside, Bee finds a painting that reminds her of Cal, her imaginary friend who was a joker. She realizes that Cal was one of her ifs and her childhood buddy. After seeing the painting, she returns to Cal's old room. Even though it's empty, she says sorry for forgetting you, and admits that she still needs him now more than ever. She leaves the painting there, closes her eyes, and when she opens them again, she again sees Cal and all her friends. This makes her incredibly happy, and she rushed to hug Cal, making him glow with happiness. Later, we see Bee leaving her grandmother's house, but her grandmother is also smiling because she has her friend back too. In the end, Cal helps reunite all the ifs with their old friends, and everyone is thrilled to be together again. And just like that, the wonderful story comes to a close. If you liked the movie, remember to subscribe and click the bell for more updates. Thank you.